Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, my social thread. My name's Crystal and today my helpers are, what's your name? Xander. And my other helper is?
Zachary.
And these are my two youngest sons. Zachary is 5 years old and Xander is 3. And they're going to be helping me today. It is day 2 of Vlogmas 2022 and we're going to start off by opening our advent calendars. So which box, boys, do you want to open? Do you want to open that one first? So the first one we're going to go for, I have 3 advent calendars, Beyond the Pink Door being number 1, Kylie and the Machines number 2, and the Fabric Godmother box number 3. And the boys have chosen to go for this one first. This is the Beyond the Pink Door advent calendar. Open it, my love. Should I put it on your lap? Oh, careful. Actually, let's put it open. Open. And let me see, 1 second. They're getting all excited that they're going to open all of it. And we're going to look for bag number 2. This is number 2. Oh, it's number 2 here. What number is that, Zachary? Number 2. So should we open this? I'm going to guess what it is. Can you feel it and see if you know what it is? You can guess. What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Come on, guess.
A card?
A card? No, but what's inside that, do you think? Anything? Does it feel hard, sharp, soft? So what do you think it is?
I don't know.
You don't know, but it's sewing related. Just guess. What do you think it is? You want to touch it?
Box.
A box, okay. It does feel like a box of some sort, and I'm thinking it's probably like a little sewing kit or like a cross stitch kit or like a Christmas
box.
Yeah, or like a little Christmas ornament that you sew together. That's what I'm thinking it is. So let's open box number 2.
Me and my flowers.
Sorry. Do you want to open it, boys? Yeah. Open.
Oh, can
Oh, what do you think it is? Let's have a look at it.
Hold on.
Oh, careful. Yeah, careful. What do you think it is? What is it, Xander?
Candy house.
What is it, Xander?
Candy house.
It's a gingerbread house, isn't it? Kind of.
Gingerbread.
And what do you think it's for?
Sewing.
It's you sew it up and you hang it on your Christmas tree. Yeah. So it's a lovely make your own felt gingerbread house from Trimmets. And it's basically a little Christmas decoration that you can hang up on your tree. Presumably it comes with the felt, the stuffing, and all the needles and embellishments to sew that up. So that's a lovely little gift, actually. And again, a very nice box number 2. Do I call them presents? Box number 2 gift from Beyond the Pink Door. Thank you very much, Andrea. And I think I've got a couple of these. We had a donut one, didn't we, Sienna, from So Haley Jane? And yeah, very special. So that's really lovely. Thank you very much.
Chocolate.
Yeah, there's no chocolate today. So this advent calendar isn't a chocolate one. These are little sewing gifts for Mama. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So which box should we go for next, boys? The big one? So they've chosen the Fabric Godmother one here. And see if you can find number 2, Zachary and Xander. That's 2, but that's 22. But it's very good though. That's 22. So we need just 2 by itself. It's quite hard, isn't it? Oh, I found it already. Maybe it's on this side of the box. There you go. Excellent. Xander, do you want to poke your finger in there? Poke. Oop. And let me open this thing and let me read it. So every little window has a little tip on the door, or every little door has a little tip. And this one says, save your wooden thread spool to store bias, binding and ribbons. That's a good idea. Oh, wooden thread spools. I don't really have wooden thread spools. I only have the plastic Gutterman's one, so that you wouldn't really be able to get bias binding on there because the ends aren't big enough. That one's been opened already. So let's open this one here. It's a little package and tissue paper. Zachary's going to open it. Oh, first, let's guess what it is. Sorry. I know what it is. I think I know what it is. What do you think it is?
Thread.
Thread? Excellent. What do you think it is?
Thread.
Touch it and see if you think it's... What does it feel like?
Thread.
What shape do you think it looks like? What does it look like?
Balling.
A what?
Like when it rolls down the hill.
Okay. Right, let's open this. Oh, Zaki, do you want to open it? You open the next one.
Thread.
It is thread. So you get a lovely scan fill wooden spool of thread, 100% organic cotton. How much do you get on here? 110 yards, so 100 meters of black Scanfil thread. I have bought Scanfil before, or I've had it in one of my previous subscription boxes, but I've not had it with the wooden spool, and this is lovely, and black is always useful, so thank you very much. Should we put that in my habit? Can somebody put it in my sewing thing, please? Oh, actually leave me, because I do a thing at the end. Sorry, give it to me back. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have this one here, the Kylie and the Machines countdown calendar. So boys, do you want to open that up? So let Sandra do it, because you did it. Let Sandra do it. Open up, my love. Lovely. And let's find box number 2, window number 2, or door number 2. No, don't press it. Let's find number 2. Xander, can you find number 2? Up the top, Xander, up the top. Yay, this one here. Right, don't yet. 1 second. Let's show them. 1 second. So Kylie and the Machine. So this was number 1 here, the pair of scissors. Number 2 is all the way up here, a lovely chandelier. Right, Zaki, you pop into it, and Xander can take out what's inside. So Zaki, open it, and you take it out. Pop it. Yeah, thank you, Zachary. Open it up, my love, Zaki, and then Xander can get what's inside.
Don't rip it open.
Oh, what is it? Do you boys know what it is? What are these?
A label.
They're labels. Oh, this is a lovely one. So you get 2 lovely labels, and it says from the stash, which is lovely. I love the colors on the background. It's sort of like pastel stripes of paint, and then in black it says from the stash. At the back it has Kylie and the Machines logo, and that is lovely actually, because recent months I haven't bought any fabric at all, and I'm so super happy about that. And it was kind of like a what's the choice? It was an express choice of mine to not buy fabric, even though I was still looking at fabric. I left it in my basket for a good couple of days, and I thought, if I still want it, I'll buy it, and if I don't, then I won't. And that's what's happened every time. After a couple of days, sort of my desire for that fabric has gone. And it's actually quite nice too, because I have got quite a lot of fabric in my stash, probably not much compared to other people's, but it's nice to shop from your stash, just to see what you've got, to just remind you of fabric that you obviously loved at one point, because you bought it enough, you loved it enough to buy it. And I think that is perfect. I wish I had more of those actually, because my makes in recent times have all been from my stash, so they're really lovely. I really like that.
Okay,
so
another one.
Yeah, that's it. Now, so you do 1 per box. So as per usual, when I say usual, I've only done this twice. This is only my 2nd time of doing it. I am going to rate the gifts. I'm going to rate the gifts from box number 2, or window number 2. So this is obviously from Beyond the Pink Door. This is from Fabric Godmother, and this is from Kylie and the Machines. I am tended to go for these labels here, only because it's a label that I've not seen before, in the sense that what's written on the label I've not seen before, and it very much is my kind of vibe at the moment, sewing from my stash, so I'm loving that. I think number 2 would be the gingerbread house, because it's a useful little gift, good for my children as well. And number 3 would be this thread. Now, that's not to say, I know Fabric Godmother has been number 3 2 days in a row. It's not to say that this is a low value item, because I think this would be about, I don't know, how much would this be? £3 or £4 maybe. Is it 100 meters? I'm not sure actually. So a normal Gutterman thread is about £2 for 100 meters. This has got the wooden spool. This is on a wooden spool. Spool sounds funny to say, but it is Scanfil and it's not Gutterman, so I'm thinking it's about £2 as well, £2.50 maybe. And this is very useful actually, because black I use all the time. So yeah, that's my rating. 1st place, Kylie and the Machine. 2nd place, Beyond the Pink Door. 3rd place, Fabric Godmother. Thank you very much, well, to all the ladies that have obviously curated all the items for these advent calendars. Right, boys, that's your time done. Do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you
Hey,
sure?
apple.
I know you were expecting.
Oh, look,
I know you were expecting sweets. Right, they've gone off there. Obviously, I don't know if they enjoyed that as much as the normal unboxings that they do, because there's no sweets involved. Sienna, helper, please. Can we just put these in my tin? Anya, could you put this in my thread box, please? It's in the other side. And can that go in like maybe on the shelf there? So that's the advent calendars done. And you can go, children. And that's the advent calendar's done. Oh, Sienna, you can put these away, Nana. What happened?
This is one of your weights.
So in terms of, so that's day 2 done of Vlogmas. What am I going to talk about? See, this is the worry with the Vlogmas of vlogging every day. I kind of was worried about what do I talk about. So let's just go for sewing stuff for now. What have I done? So my plans I spoke about yesterday in day 1, and basically since then I haven't actually done much, but I'm hoping to get started on my daughter's lyra dress because that's already all cut out as I showed you yesterday. That's the pocket piece for the lyra, so I'm going to get that sorted out. Now I've made the lyra a lot of times, I think about 8 or 9 times now, so I know what I'm doing, but I still have to look at the instructions for the collar. I can't do that by heart yet. And so what I tend to do with the lyra is I do all the easy parts that I know off by heart first. And that for me is doing all the skirt and the pocket pieces. So with the skirt of the lyra, you have I got it here? Yep. You've got the 2 layers. So you've got the front, so the top tier front and back piece, the bottom tier front and back piece. And what I do is I serge all the pieces on the ends, on the side seams. I serge all of those, and then the pocket pieces you're told to serge all the way around these pocket pieces, and then I attach the pocket to the side seam, understitch that, and then sew the side seams together. Then I put the gathering stitches in readiness for that, joining the bodice. Then I put the gathering stitches in this tier here. No, first of all, sorry, I do the gathering stitches there, so that sort of tier is done. And then with this bottom tier, I tend to serge the bottom and hem it up by 1 inch already when it's on a rectangle, rather than hemming it when it's already gathered as a skirt. I find it's quicker and easier and much more accurate, because it's basically like a long piece of fabric, so you can get a really nice straight hem. So I do that first, then I do the gathering stitches, attach those 2 tiers together. So now that whole section there is ready to attach onto the bodice. The next thing I do is the sleeves. So again, do the side seams, serge them, do the gathering stitches at the shoulder. What are these called? At the shoulder. Gather the arms, so then gather the cuffs and add the elastic, so those 2 are done. And then I spend a little bit more time on the bodice, but then at least once I've done the bodice, because you've got the button plackets, you've got the darts, and then you've got the collar, once I've attached all those together, I can then quickly attach the sleeves and the skirt, and I find that's a much easier thing for me to do. And so that's what I plan to do. So tonight I am going to get the skirt, all of the skirt pieces done, and maybe even the sleeves done, and then the bodice maybe tomorrow. What else has been happening? So I have added a couple of destash items to my destash page, which is at my social thread _destash, and the lovely Claire from Stitch Hem Sew has bought a couple of fabric pieces from me, which is lovely, so I'm going to post that out today. Another lady has also bought my noodle head bag sewing pattern, which I got from the Sew Hayley Jane luxury box. So I'm going to go to the post office this afternoon to post that. 2nd of December, what do we do? So I know most families are already decorating their houses and their homes with sort of their trees and their lights and everything else. So when we were younger, we used to decorate our house on the 1st of December because that was just our tradition. Funnily enough, in the Philippines, they start decorating, believe it or not, from September, and they call it the Burr months. So as soon as you get into September, October, November, December, Christmas things are everywhere. Like literally all of the malls or the shopping centers are covered in Christmas lights, and they go all out because it's a hot country and you don't have to worry about the elements. Everything is over decorated, sort of the gardens and the houses, inside the house, outside the house, everything is fully lit up, huge animals and decorations and everything. But obviously in this country we don't do that, which is fine and actually more acceptable. So we used to do it, as I say, on the 1st of December. In recent years, however, a friend of ours brought to our attention that actually, because we are practicing Catholics, the main focus on Christmas for us is the 25th of December, the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. And basically that is why we are decorating our homes. That's in preparation for the coming of Jesus Christ. So now I know it's kind of like, if I can give a good analogy, it's kind of like if it's my birthday on the 25th of December, for example, I wouldn't start preparing for the party or decorating the house for the party 25 days early, because that's just really silly. By the time you get to the birthday, all the decorations are broken, or they've lost their sparkle. It's no longer exciting. It's no longer new and fun. And, you know, because you've had it for 25 days. Now, I guess one would argue, when do you decorate your house? Do you decorate it on the actual day, the 25th? Do you decorate it the day before, on the 24th? So my thinking of this is kind of like, you know, for a normal birthday, you would normally decorate the night before or on the day for the party. But for a special birthday, for example, like if it was like your 18th birthday or a wedding anniversary, or if it was the king's birthday, for example, people would start decorating and start preparing weeks before. So my thinking is, as Jesus is the king, you know, as practicing Catholics, he is our king. We normally start decorating about 14 to 10 days before. And I think that's quite nice, because we decorate the house in parts. So we put up the lights first, then we do the decorations on the banisters, we put up the tree, but we decorate the tree last, as sort of maybe a week before we start decorating the tree, and then we finally light it on Christmas Eve. And I think the gradual steps of decorating, especially for the children, it gives them a hint of excitement, but every day leading towards Christmas is actually a bit more exciting, because there's a new decoration, or there's more lights, or the tree is finally up. And I think for them it just brings that little sparkle and excitement to Christmas that unfortunately nowadays is very commercialized, and it's all about Christmas presents, which is fine. I mean, obviously not everybody has religious beliefs, and Christmas presents is a big part of it, especially for children. So I don't take that away from anybody. We obviously do Christmas presents as well, but for us personally as Catholics, that's how we like to do it. And I think that kind of joins nicely sort of the Christmas presents and the waiting for the arrival of Jesus, the birth of Jesus, and then going to mass. So we go to midnight mass, so that's actually 12 o'clock midnight on Christmas Eve, and it's a wonderful mass. The choir's there, it's just like angels singing, and then we have a mass, and then for us that is Christmas already. So when we get home from midnight mass, so it's probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, or 1:30 in the morning, the kids are, they're wide awake, they're excited. We get home, we have like a nice festive snack, and then they open their presents already, and then we stay up for a couple of hours, and then we either watch a movie till they fall asleep, or they just all sleep in our bedrooms, in my husband and I's bedroom, because it's Christmas Eve, and it's just nice just to, you know, kind of all not tent up, have sleeping bags on the floor in our room, and just all the children are there. When we had fewer children, they all slept in our bed, because it was only once a year, and everybody was tired, and it was a long day, obviously, with going to mass at midnight. But to be fair, the younger children do sleep, have a sort of an early bedtime, and then we wake them up and bring them to mass. If they are young, then we bring them asleep. And I know that's not for everybody, but in our church, all the families do it, and we've done it ever since we've had our first child, Talia. When she was a newborn, we brought her. She was born in September, so by December she would have been 3 months old, and we brought her along, and it was perfectly fine. Most of the younger children are asleep anyway, but then after the mass, they surprisingly all wake up in anticipation for what they're going to eat when they get home and open their Christmas presents. So that's just a little bit about what we do for preparation for Christmas. And yeah, what else can I share with you? So today, my morning, a general morning for me, I'm for those that you follow me know, I have a large family. I've got 8 children. My eldest is 15 years old, and my youngest is 19 months old. And a general day for me starts quite late, actually, compared to most parents. Now, I know parents whose children go to school, I presumably wake up at sort of between 6 or 7, sort of they're out of the house by 8 for a 9 o'clock start at school. For us, because I home educate, our day starts a bit later. And that's not to say that there are lots of home educating families that do start early. It's just I'm not a morning person, so I would rather stay up late and get sort of the chores done, like the ironing, tidy up the house, laundry, that sort of thing, get work ready for the next day in terms of their schoolwork ready the next day. I would rather do that in the evenings rather than wake up super early at 6 a.m. And get things done. So that's just my parenting style. And I know some mums that actually say, you know, the best part of their day is sort of waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning when it's, you know, nobody's awake and it's quiet, and they have a coffee and they do reading. And, you know, that for me is that I couldn't think of anything worse. I would rather sleep a bit more and just do all of that extra work the night before. So anyhow, we're normally up by around 8:30. We say morning prayers, just to start our day off well, you know, thanking Jesus for the day, asking us to help us be good children and be good parents, parents to our children, good children to our parents, good siblings to one another, to be kind and thoughtful and helpful to each other. And that sort of starts off our day. Sometimes we say the rosary as well in the morning, which is a long litany of Hail Marys and Our Fathers that Catholics say. And then we are sort of up and ready by about 9:30, and we start schoolwork. So this morning I have already done schoolwork with the 3 younger ones. So Zachary, who's 5, Anya, who's 7, and Gabriel, who's 9. So I've done their reading with them, their maths, their handwriting, and a bit of history as well. They obviously are all on different grades or years, and so I have to do them individually. But as a homeschooling mum of a large family, I obviously have everything else to contend to. Like, I've got the baby sort of running around, I've got the older children asking me questions about their work, and just the general running of the house. So it's very, very busy. And homeschooling isn't for everyone, because it isn't just about educating your children. It's a complete lifestyle change. Like, you have your children with you all the time, almost 24 hours a day, every day. So there is no break. So it is hard work, but it is worth it for us, because I guess I'll go on to the reason why we started home educating. So my eldest daughter, Talia, when she was 3 or 4, she went into nursery, which was fine. Her being our first child, and with both Daniel and I being quite academic, we literally poured everything into our first child, as you do. She was super clever, because we literally did the flashcards and the board games and all these classes, and, you know, and her drawing was amazing. She could draw like houses and people and gardens sort of at the age of 3. She could she knew her alphabet, she knew her numbers, she could read small words. So she was kind of like our star child, as I suppose most parents are of firstborn children. And when she went into nursery, it was almost kind of like she declined a bit. So when she, like I said, she was drawing pictures of gardens and houses and people. When she went to nursery, she came home and it was scribbles, and she was very happy with that, because I guess some of the other children did scribbles, and so she just kind of copied them, and she was very happy with what she had made, which I just thought, well, you know, she's learning, she's, you know, in a new environment. But it never really progressed from there. It was kind of like maybe a better scribble, or sort of like a very simple house or something. So we thought in that regard she was declining a little bit. Also in terms of her reading, you know, in nursery, it was all picture books. There wasn't any words or anything. So again, in that sense, she was kind of being held back. But I mean, I'm not blaming the nursery at all. Obviously, in a nursery, you have about, I don't know, 20 to 30 children, and maybe a teacher and an assistant. So I know that every child cannot be catered for to their abilities, because it's just impossible. You know, just the school system is impossible in that regard. So I suppose the more advanced children are kind of held back a bit, and then the less advanced children maybe don't get enough time for them to grow as they should. And so it is very difficult. And I'm not saying anything negative about the schools, because obviously I went to school from the beginning all the way through. My husband went to school, you know, through the beginning all the way through, you know, secondary school, college. I then went on to, so I did 3 years law in London, and then I did my 2 years law school in the Inns of Court in central London, and then 2 years training to qualify as a solicitor, and then 2 years in practice, criminal defence and family law. And then I moved over to private practice when I had the children. It was basically working for the family business for a couple of years. And then slowly but surely, I kind of wound down to basically pretty much just ad hoc consultancy. Again, my husband is quite academic as well. He did computer science. He's a programmer. He's a software engineer, and he graduated top of his class at university. So, you know, I'm not saying the school isn't, you know, there are a lot of good things that come out of school, a lot of good careers that come out of school, a lot of, you know, clever, well accomplished professional people that come out of school. It's just for us personally, there was this chance to do it a different way. You know, home education was something that we had never heard of, and at first we were really, I personally was really apprehensive about it. I didn't want my children to be weird, to be, you know, to miss out, to be socially inept. I didn't want all of that. But we met some families that had started home educating, and then when we got into that group, we met, you know, families whose children had graduated from home education and were sort of doing medicine and engineering and everything else. And we just thought, this is another way to educate your children if you're able to do it financially, mentally, if you've got the mental sort of good well-being to be able to have your children at home and be able to educate them, and you have the support from your husband, and you have a network of other families and other children that do it, then we just thought, you know, why not give it a go? Let's see how it goes. And we've not looked back since, because the first year, so Tyler was I think she was going to start reception at around, is it 5? I'm not sure what age they start. And at the time, my brother-in-law and his 2 children were at school, and they got pulled out of school and they started homeschooling, and it was only for the summer. So they sort of said, you know, it's like a little summer school. It's nice for the cousins to come together, you know, spend time together, do some work, craft activities, that sort of thing. So we said, okay, it's only a summer school thing. Let's let Talia go. And she absolutely loved it. Like, they didn't want to go home. You know, every night it was like, can we go back to summer school? And they learned so much in that summertime. It was unbelievable. Like, literally, children are like sponges, and when they have the right focus and the right attention and the right resources, and, you know, the amount of time dedicated to them, they will just flourish. And so that's what we saw with Talia. And ever since then, we just thought, well, let's just keep going until such time as it's a disaster, or such time as, you know, the children are absolutely hating it, or I'm absolutely hating it. But we've not had one of those sort of absolute disasters. I mean, obviously, you know, there are weeks where it is difficult. Like if I'm sick, for example, like with a flu or a cold, then obviously I'm able to give less time to the children. There's obviously squabbling between the children. But overall, I think for us personally, it's worked out quite well. And I think as well that the relationship that the children have with each other, I mean, they do, I mean, I'm not going to lie, they do argue, they do squabble, they do bicker, you know, but they're best friends sort of for 1 hour, then they hate each other for 10 minutes and, you know, best friends again. And I think that's what happens with all siblings and with all children. But I think had they been at school, they probably wouldn't have that much time with each other to bond, if that makes sense, because I suppose 9 till 3 plus travel time, you're away from your siblings and your family. So the main, I guess, friendship group, or the main source of a surety, or the main source of joy or criticism or praise, comes from your peers in school and from your teachers. And then when you get home, you're tired, you know, you probably don't want to socialize with your siblings so much. Again, your relationship with your parents might be a bit more strained, because it's like, well, I don't want to do it your way, you know, because my teacher has taught me this, or, you know, there's just so many different dynamics that I suppose home educated children have a different sort of dynamic with their siblings and their parents than a school child would, only because of the amount of time that they do spend with each other. So for us personally, we found that that's quite nice, in that the children do have a better relationship with each other. I mean, obviously we can't compare it to anything else because they've not been to school. But just with, you know, listening to our friends who have got children that go to school, who have subsequently taken them out, or even vice versa, actually, there have been some friends of ours that have been home educating, and then they've decided for their particular circumstances that their children should go to school, and they've then, you know, sort of re-entered them into the school system again, and that's worked out fine for them. So anyway, I hope I'm not babbling too much. That's enough for home education for today. How long is this going on for? Oh gosh, 29 minutes. I will stop there, I think, because I've got another 23 days to speak to you about home education, about family life, and a little bit about sewing. I hope that wasn't too boring for you guys. If you comment below if it is a bit too boring, I'll probably stop talking about home education for a while, and maybe just talk about the family and things, because I know lots of people commented that they did want to hear about how I run sort of the family, you know, cooking, cleaning, you know, grocery shopping, that sort of thing. But thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll hopefully see you again tomorrow for day 3. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.